I finally told my brother-in-law to leave after he's been mooching off us for a year. When Greg first showed up at our door with 2 duffel bags and that stupid grin, he said he just needed a few months to save up for his own place. My wife Amy begged me to let him stay. He's her younger brother, and apparently he'd just quit his job at some warehouse because his manager was, quote, a total jerk. I said fine, 3 months max. That was a year ago. Greg doesn't pay rent, doesn't pay utilities, doesn't buy groceries. The guy has a motorcycle that he rides every single weekend with his buddies, but somehow can't afford to chip in $50 for the electric bill. And I know he has money because I've seen him buy energy drinks and vape cartridges at the gas station. The worst part is, he doesn't even do basic stuff around the house. Dishes pile up in the sink until Amy washes them. Trash overflows until I take it out. His laundry sits in the dryer for days until someone else needs to use it. When I bring it up to Amy, she just says he's going through a rough patch, and that family helps family. I work 10-hour shifts at a tire shop and come home to find Greg on the couch playing some stupid mobile game where he's yelling at his phone. He'll look up and be like, "Hey man, what's for dinner?" Like I'm supposed to cook for him too. Last Tuesday I got home around 6. Amy was still at her shift at the pharmacy. Greg's bike was in the driveway, which meant he was home. I walked in and he was in his usual spot on the couch. Our dog Rusty was by the sliding door wagging his tail because he needed to go out. I let Rusty into the backyard and started making myself a sandwich. Around 8, Amy got home and we ate together. Greg had already eaten apparently because there were pizza boxes on the counter that he didn't throw away. We watched TV for a bit and then went to bed around 10:30. Around 11, I heard Greg's motorcycle start up. I looked out the window and saw him leaving, probably going to meet his friends at some bar. Whatever, at least he'd be out of the house. I woke up the next morning around 6 and went to let Rusty out like I always do. I opened the back door and called for him. Nothing. I walked into the yard and he wasn't there. The side gate was wide open. My stomach dropped. I ran back inside and woke up Amy. We both threw on shoes and started walking the neighborhood calling Rusty's name. We checked every yard, every alley, every park nearby. Nothing. Amy was crying. I was trying to keep it together, but Rusty was 12 years old. We'd had him since he was a puppy. We made a post on Facebook with his picture. We called the animal shelter. We drove around for 3 hours. Then around noon, Amy's phone rang. It was someone from the neighborhood Facebook group. They'd seen a dog that looked like Rusty on the main road outside our subdivision. He'd been hit by a car. We drove over and it was him. He was already gone. We carried him back to the house and I buried him in the backyard while Amy sat on the porch crying. I was so angry I couldn't even speak. Greg didn't come home until almost 3 in the afternoon. He walked in through the front door and I was standing there covered in dirt from digging. He looked at me and said, "What's up, man? You good?" I asked him if he locked the gate when he left last night. He shrugged and said he didn't remember. Maybe. Why? I told him Rusty got out and died. He stared at me for a second and then said, "Oh man, that sucks." Then he walked toward the kitchen and said, "It wasn't really his fault though. Stuff happens." He said he'd buy us a new dog if it made us feel better. I lost it. I told him to pack his stuff and get out. He tried to argue and said I was being ridiculous and that it was an accident. I told him he'd been living here for free for a year and couldn't even be bothered to close a gate. He said I was being dramatic and that dogs die all the time. Amy tried to calm me down, but I was done. I told Greg he had until the end of the week to find somewhere else to go. He called me a psycho and said he'd tell everyone what a jerk I was. I didn't care. He left 2 days later, took his bike and his bags and didn't say a word. Amy's parents called me saying I was too harsh and that Greg didn't mean for it to happen. I hung up on them. Rusty's gone because Greg couldn't do one simple thing. I'm not apologizing for that.